What's up, guys? It's That Channel. Welcome back to more Beyond You! We are playing this game again. I loved the last episode. The last episode was amazing. All the girls look different. All the artwork has changed. A lot of the new music is amazing. I have the soundtrack now, which is awesome. I've listened to a lot of the songs, and it's just a beautiful soundtrack. And I love everything about it. And we're in another update. So, last video, as you guys were aware, in the beginning part where Haruka starts to, kind of show up and show her scaredy look, if that makes sense. You noticed her eyes kind of popped out a bit. That was an actual bug in the game. That was an actual sprite issue. Hex has since then fixed that, and we are gonna hopefully get into more of the storyline. We left off last time where there was a knock at the door, and that was exactly the cliffhanger that I was very proud of leaving off on, because I don't know where else better to leave it off. Without further ado, let's jump right back into it. There's already a difference I can see, because there was a black screen in the loading section. And okay, I accidentally just skipped that. I'm sorry. There's a black screen in the loading section, yet there's an actual background here. So I don't know. Maybe they updated it a little bit more than just bug fixes, but for the most part, at least the bugs that we have experienced the last episode are gone. They were very, very funny, and I will admit that I had a fun time with them while they lasted, but we no longer have those with us. So let's continue, shall we? I woke up to the sound of someone knocking on my door. I slid out of bed and yanked my robe on. Oh, it's Haruka! I should have guessed that! Wakey, wakey! I heard you! I rubbed my face with my hands, teeth grit. What was she using to knock? A battering ram? I love that. Why are you here so early? Or why are you here so early? I want to get to school early so we can work out a strategy. We might even be able to switch groups around. We can't change our group around. The thud against the door sounded. I can only assume Haruka had slapped the door. Don't be so negative. I'm sure we can convince someone to change. Or force them. Haruka, you need to let this go. We're working with them and you might as well get used to it. Silence followed my words, and I took the time to get dressed. It didn't take long, though. I would miss those extra 30 minutes of sleep. Once dressed, I opened the door and nearly ran into Haruka. She looked me over once, then turned her heel to walk down the stairs. I followed quietly, not wanting to argue. After a brief breakfast of today and some juice, we were out the door. My house was silent, and neither of us spoke. That and my parents were asleep. How did Haruka even get in? We had a spare key, and she'd seen me use it before. I'm pretty sure she had anyway. The walk to school was starkly different than yesterday. We raced like kids then, and made jokes. Now I was in step with Haruka, who hadn't spoken since my house. I should stay quiet and reassure her. I think last time we played through this, we reassured her. I just spit everywhere, and I apologize. Disgusting. But I think we're gonna go with that again, because I want to make sure that we're kind of staying on her side. I don't know what it is about her, but she's still one of my favorite character in the game. I don't mean to offend anybody, but she definitely has a lot of she has a lot of aspects about her that I really like. So she's definitely one of my favorite, if not the favorite, kind of like Sayori. And then I'm going to reassure her. So let's go with that. The silence had become overbearing, and so I nudged her with my elbow. You're my best friend, Haruka. Being in a group for a class isn't going to stop us from being friends. Haruka dipped her head away, as if to discuss her face. What if they like you more than like me? It'd be easy if you just... She trailed off, her arms crossed against the autumn weather. Just what? I leaned to see her face better, though that didn't do much. Forget about me? How could I forget about you? You never let me. I remember that part, that's funny. We both laughed, though her laughter wasn't as cheerful as usual. I straightened up, a frown on my face. We had to be in a group one way or another. Everyone else in class hates us, so... No, they hate me. She frowned, glaring at the pavement in front of her. She was brash, competitive, and incredibly defensive. It was in her nature to assume the worst of others. It balanced out my endless trust. How about... I'll try today just to be nice. It's a start. But if they get grabby with you... Haruka didn't continue her statement, though she did punch her fist for effect. I laughed, my brows angled with confusion. My hero. It's usually a princess who gets saved, but I guess you can be a prince. So I can, Haruka. We arrived to school earlier than necessary thanks to Haruka's nerves. At least she'd given up on trying to change groups. I hadn't seen the other girls in my other classes, though I knew they must be around. I was too overwhelmed with the pressure of performing well in each class. We didn't have science until the afternoon, and the day went by in what felt like seconds. By the way, if you guys aren't aware, I'm drinking soda in the background of this. I went to a party a couple days ago, and nobody drank the soda that we got for the party, and so we ended up just keeping the soda. And now I've got free soda for videos. It's the best thing ever. That and my Powerade. So, life is dandy right now. Haruka and I turned up to science with a few minutes to spare. We were eager to make up for the blatantness that previous day. I saw Aiko, though the other girls weren't there yet. Oh, hello, Devin. Hey, Aiko. She had several sheets of paper in front of her, splayed across the desk. Doing some reading? They're club application forms. I got them from the office. Oh yeah, I remember last time we played through this, I had made a bunch of comments on how there's a club application for a club in this school, and then it refers back to like the literature club, and it's like, yay! This isn't gonna turn into a horror game. But now that I'm reading them, these forms seem more like permission slips. Yeah, they're for if you have to leave campus with your club. If you want to join a club, you just meet up with whoever's the club president. Oh, that isn't like our old school. I know it's a different school. I don't mean to compare them. I'm just not used to it. No need to apologize. You weren't sure about how it worked, so you asked. It's the office who told you that you needed all these forms. They didn't seem to question me. Strange. It's still good that you want to join a club. Aiko nodded, her hands clasped with excitement. I thought it'd be a wise move given colleges prefer people who are socially active. Are either of you going to join a club? Let me spell this out for you, Aiko. Haruka raised her hand to gesture with each word that followed. We don't do clubs. Ah, well, so much for that being nice part that Haruka said earlier. That really went downhill as quick as possible, didn't it? Ah, why not? Because we just don't. I'm not gonna force you into one, but they are worth considering if you want to stand a chance. I already know where I'm going, and Devin is so smart that he could start their own college? I don't think college is the right word you want, Haruka. I may be smart in game talking. I may be smart. But I'm sure I'm not going to be able to start my own college anytime soon. I mean, considering we're probably still in high school, that's probably a long way from happening. I don't think that's how that works. 2 colleges! Why would you need 100? Why would you need 100 colleges? I'm just saying, showing off in a little group of losers doesn't make you better for college. How do you know if they're losers if you don't spend time with them? It sounds like you applied for a club and they turned you down. No, why would I care if a club turned me down? I mean, why would I apply for a club? I had never heard that Haruka had applied for a club, though she did begin to make her hatred known for them sometime last year. I'm sorry people in the past have hurt you, but if you go around rejecting everyone first, eventually you'll succeed. Sometimes a success isn't a good thing. Aiko went to take a seat, her gaze focused on the paperwork she collected. It was more permission slips than anyone would ever need. I don't go around rejecting people. People just don't like me, because you don't give them a chance to get to know you. There's not much to know. Whatever. Haruka took her seat, disengaged from everything around her. She was fidgeting with her buttons on the suspender of her skirt. I took my seat by the window and watched as the other girls filed in. Kana and Yumi offered greetings in the form of a wave each. Others began to file into the room, talking amongst themselves. I couldn't tell what's being said, but people looked as confused as I felt. With the disjointed nature of the groups, I had to wonder what exactly would happen with our class. Before I could say anything, Mr. Saito entered. The room fell silent and he began to set up for whatever presentation he had organized, given that we had our science class mixed into one. Yeah, this was gonna be a mess. The curriculum for this year will be broken down into sections. Additional, specific classes will be offered as lectures. As such, choose your focus carefully. This could decide your fate. I frowned, unsure of what to make of this. It sounded like they were going to run our senior science class like a college. No doubt it's because of the change in class sizes. The school had gained all those students from Minami. Whatever, as long as I was able to maintain my grades, it didn't matter how the information was delivered. This first week will be spent on a topic external to the main topics. As such, consider this a getting to know you sort of week. It'll be graded, however, so I don't think it's a time to slack off. Haruka shot me a smile, accompanied by a thumbs up. I had to smile in return, at least thankful she was in better spirits. Class began to separate into their groups. For some, it seemed easy. They had decided their groups, which meant they knew how it would be split. Everyone had picked their best friend or their partner. I had Haruka, and then a few strays from Minami School. Other students from Minami School seemed to have settled into the crowd, as familiar as old classmates. You'd hardly be able to tell them apart, which meant that it was the moment of truth. Oh boy, here we go. Hey, so, I'm just like, sorry, I guess? But I'm not even that sorry. I didn't do anything. I didn't get to read that. Hold on, I gotta see that. I'm not even that sorry. I didn't even do anything, so whatever. I'm just sorry, I guess, okay? What the heck was that? I think an apology, but it's okay, really. No apology needed. Yumi rolled her eyes and her hands in motion. Aiko pushed Yumi's hands down. Yumi signed something else, and the pair kicked into conversation, both their hands shifting in ways I couldn't understand. Aiko looked annoyed, though, and Yumi smiled. It was an apology, yeah. We're a group, and I want to get through this year, you know? I'd still be with the other girls no matter who I choose to work with. But they'd be the one I'd be working closest with. I had to rely on them to make the right choices. And I had to hope they were focused on the same avenue of study. That is, if the study was still the most important thing to me. I'd done so well in school, even before the craziness. One mixed-up science class couldn't ruin everything I worked for. Could it? Work with Aiko, Haruka, Kana, or Yumi. Oh, we all know what we're going with. I am going to choose Haruka because she's my favorite. We're gonna do all the routes though, because I am very motivated to do all the routes. Unlike Doki Doki Literature Club, I didn't really pursue all the routes. And I regret it because I've played through them all already, and if I were to go back and do them, it'd be a very, very fake reaction to it. So I can't do it at that point, but I'm not going to miss a chance with this game. I've talked to Hex, and she was giving me all these ideas that she had in mind. I'm not going to spoil them or anything like that, but I am very, very much motivated to play through all the routes because apparently they're supposed to have all different like achievements and stuff, and I shouldn't have said that. But like I said, I just wasn't going to spoil it, and then there I go. I just went ahead and... Okay, well, you know, I apologize for that. But for the most part, this is going to be great because then I can kind of make up for what I didn't do in Doki Doki Literature Club. So, it's a win-win. I think it'd be easiest as if Haruka and I worked together. Well, duh, who else would you have picked? I don't know, maybe Aiko, Yumi, or Kana? You know, the other three girls standing here, Haruka? Well, see you guys later, bye! Will you three be okay in here? We will manage, I promise. Thank God I don't have to work with her. She's not that bad. Plus, we're still a group. Yumi made a face as if she's unhappy with the arrangement. She didn't seem serious, though. Devin! That's funny. I already checked. It's some dumb, boring worksheet on how not to set yourself on fire. It's still work. Yeah, but it's easy work. Step 1, don't touch the burnies. The burnies? Is that what she said? The burnies? I roll my eyes, able to recall a dozen times that Haruka did, in fact, touch the burnies. Is that actually what they call them? It was any wonder she had survived this long with her lack of survival instincts. Okay, here. She slapped down a pair of crumpled pieces of paper. She had them for less than a minute, and they were already, what does that say? Dog-eared? Wow, I cannot read that. And rumpled. I was never very good at the English vocabulary. Answer 1 is, don't make the fire super hot? I took a seat, blinking at her answer. I looked over the information and found she wasn't completely wrong. A surprise, really. It's about the color of the fire. Just don't leave it unattended, or the blue flame if you're not directly working with it. Yeah, so, not hot burnies, fire bad. Was that a sentence? Wait a minute. Was that a sentence? Period. I love that. That's such a good touch. Yeah? I exhaled, leaning back in my seat. Haruka sat down beside me, 1 foot tucked beneath her thigh. She kept pushing her skirt to keep it from riding up, and I had to stare at the ceiling. Why not sit normally? Don't seat shame me. You're in a skirt. It just seems annoying to sit like that. So, now I'm annoying? I didn't say you were annoying, but you thought it. I'm not happy with me? Oh, we're gonna get into this, aren't we? Well, fine, go pick one of the other girls. I'll go. I'm such a burden. I didn't even want to work with you anyway. That's not what I said. I turned around to see Mr. Sato glaring at us as if he anticipated problems. Maybe that is why he has put us in such a large group, hopeful to split us up. Haruka caught on that her melodrama had been noticed by Mr. Sato. I messed that up so horribly. Haruka pouted, her brow furrowed as she tore at the edges of the paper. She mumbled to herself, though I couldn't make out the words. Stop being a child. I chose you, didn't I? Choose you, didn't I? Don't you mean chose? You get what I meant. Haruka tapped her foot, the one on the floor, her chin tucked down against her cheek. She looked really ready to cry, but I hadn't done anything to push the problems. It was all in her head, wasn't it? We're partners in crime and in science. Yeah, and chemistry, right? Right? Or my partner in all things, or I learn the most when I'm with you. My partner in all things. You're my partner in all things. Really? You'll always be my partner, Haruka. You won't get rid of me so easily. That was true. Haruka and I balanced one another out. Maybe that's how she survived so long. She had taken my answer sheet and begun to transcribe it onto her own. It's group work. She waved a hand at me when I tried to slide my paper back over. I didn't try very hard. We were around the same height, which meant it was useless to try and grab stuff off her. Her arm was about as long as mine, and Mr. Saito would notice us fighting. Instead, I watched as she copied my work, her tongue poking out at the corner of her mouth as she concentrated. I still didn't know why she decided to do any sort of science. She was more suited to sports or theater. It was sad to see her out of her element. It only made her more insecure and defensive. The other girls made that defensiveness even worse. I'd never seen her be jealous, but maybe that's what this all was. Jealousy. Hey Haruka. You aren't jealous of the other girls, are you? You have no reason to be. I mean, you are my best friend. It's not that. I don't want to talk about it in here. There are too many people. Haruka gestured to the room around us and then behind us. She had a point. There were a few dozen other people around us. It didn't make for the best place to have deep discussion. Behind us, I could hear the other half of our groups locked in discussions about the lab rules. I had to wonder how we'd be expected to reconvene into a group of 5, but whatever. I was with Haruka right now. We can talk about it later then. My point is, I care about you. I chose you, and that's the end of it. Haruka opened her mouth, but it closed a moment later. Instead of arguing, she resumed copying my work. She mouthed along as she wrote, her tongue poking out either side of her mouth when she stopped to review her work. It was a good thing I'd already finished my work, otherwise this would be very distracting. She noticed me staring she didn't say anything. It was a strange sight to have Haruka so diligent in her work. She rarely paid attention, but this was just copying. It was the easiest sort of work to do, and perhaps she was on her best behavior to make up for yesterday. I sent a cautious look around the room at the other pairs. They were all friends of Haruka and I, or couples. Funny how people paired off towards the end of school. Some are obvious how close they sat. Others are more like siblings, arguing or gesturing wildly. I smiled as I looked back to Haruka. I wondered how Haruka and I must look to other people. Were we more like friends, or... Hey Devin, you spelled extinguisher wrong. What? Yeah, see here? Haruka pointed her finger at the word extinguisher. But as I leaned in to check, she flicked me on the nose. Haruka! Haruka began giggling wildly, her hands covering her mouth as she tried to dampen the sound. Very funny. I laughed in a sarcastic way, halted and harsh. That didn't stop Haruka from relishing my annoyance. It was as if she enjoyed my anger. Whether by poor timing or her stun had invited it, Mr. Saito walked over. Collect your work. You'll be comparing with the rest of your group. Thursday will be a case study, so a step towards practical. I need to be sure I can trust you to work with us in space, given the number of students, so don't disappoint me. I wish that one day of actual classes had been a little more exciting. Not that time with Haruka was ever dull. She refused to live in such a life, always eager to be the center of attention. She stuck her tongue out at me before she jumped up, a wink shot my way to match. And she's gone again. I love how quick that was, just whoop, and then just gone. I feel like I'm always chasing her. I mean, that's kind of because you actually are always chasing her. And while we're playing her route, that's probably going to be a lot more often than not. So, you're not wrong, my friend. Class wound down, which left me in my routine. Usually it meant that I'd wait for her by the front gate of the school. The quiet was good. It gave me time to think about the changes this year. I have to wonder what Haruka wanted to talk to me about in class. Excuse me, Devin? A girl approached me, same year, and I remember this. See, it's been so long since I actually gotten to this part that it's like... this is like the girl that we talked to about, like, I don't want to spoil it in case you guys haven't seen the first few episodes, and if you haven't watched it, please, because they're very worth watching, because it's such a great game. But this is a girl that apparently I think we went on a date with her. I can't seem to remember, but I know she's just as like kind of like academic as we are, I think. And we're both very kind of smart in our own studies. A girl approached me same year, and I recognized her. Hey, Isla. Is it Ayla or Ayla? I don't know. I think it's Ayla. I'm going to pronounce it Ayla. Please, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's Ayla. Well, Haruka was my only friend at school. Ayla was, well, I'm not sure what we are, but we're on good terms. She was too busy with being class president and her studies. Oh boy, just that phrase right there, class president. She might be onto something. And we fought over that often. She's the closest thing I had to competition for top student. Yeah, see, I told you. And that was enough to put an end to us. She's quiet right now anyway, but she's rarely quiet for long. I need to talk to you. We're talking right now, aren't we? Privately. She sounded nervous when she clarified she wanted to speak in private. Before I can answer either way, she grabbed me by the hand. I'm not particularly short or tall, but until I'd met Yumi, Ayla was the tallest girl I've ever met. She pulls at my hand with ease, giving she does sport alongside. This is literally Monica. I don't know if I said this last time I saw her, but this is literally Monica. Club president, academic, frickin' she does sports. It's like, what is there not about this girl that's about Monica as well? I don't know how she has the time. I'm loving this game, I really do. I love this game so much. Ayla seemed to have somewhere in mind, though she didn't say as much. Instead, we rushed towards the school and into the closest building. Ooh, pretty. The library was ghostly quiet, without the usual rustle of papers and the clack of keyboards. No one was in here. See, this is new artwork I noticed, because I think the last time it was one of those like free asset libraries. So it's kind of cool that they changed it, because now it looks really, really cool. I love the super cola machine in the background. That caught my eye almost right away. That and the fan lights. Okay, I already read this. Not much use for the library, given it was after hours and only the second day of classes. Besides, most people use the internet. I stepped further inside, gawking at the eerie quiet of the disused library. The air was stale and still. Ooh. The music. I don't recognize this one. I actually don't recognize this music. I think I must have heard it on my Spotify, but I actually don't recognize it. I don't remember it from anywhere. I haven't seen it in ages, but it's really cool. Not since last year. You could have visited, and you could have visited me. That's not what I needed to talk to you about. I don't want to fight. I actually had a favor I wanted to ask of you. A favor? This is important, and it has to stay between us, okay? Just say what you need, Ayla. Being cryptic doesn't help your case. It's about Minami School, the fire more specifically. I stare at Ayla, unsure of what she could possibly mean, or rather, what she wanted from me. I'd been asked to keep an eye on some of the girls from that school. The ones you were partnered with? I know their school burned down, yeah, but why keep an eye on them? There's more to it. I just don't know if I can tell you about it. Well, I can. Ayla heaved a sigh, more relaxed now that we were alone. It started during the holidays. I was given the role of class president. She flashed a hand towards her chest and at the pin of her blazer. I was unsure of how her role as class president affected the fire. I mean, I don't know. Class president seems to have a lot of different meanings in different places, so it's like, I mean, hey, that badge means you probably have all total power, both inside and out of realistic life. But I listened. I crossed my arms over my chest and tipped my head. I was asked to come to the campus the week before school started. I thought it was about my duties to the school, or maybe they wanted to take photos. I scoffed, unable to keep that quiet. She smiled in spite of herself. They do that for the purposes of staff or the yearbook. In any case, it was a private concern by someone within the school. They were worried about the students who've transferred here. Not all of them, and to be honest, I think it's just paranoia. They think one of the girls started the fire at the school. More specifically, they believe Kana was responsible. That's not spelt right. Responsible is with an S, I think, right? I don't know, maybe it is correct. I'm just reading it wrong. I think responsible is spelt wrong, though. They don't have any proof of this, just speculation. I narrowed my eyes at Ayla, unsure of what to even ask of her. Kana has seemed the most upset about the school burning down. Kana was seen talking to herself often, in strange parts of the school. She's not hurt anyone that they know of, but she's been put onto therapy multiple times since childhood. I wave a hand at Ayla, my defenses raised. Just because someone goes to therapy doesn't mean they're in danger to anyone. I'm just telling you what they told me, for the sake of context. What I wanted to ask of you is, if you'd be able to work more closely with Kana, to keep an eye on her for me. Aiko is a top student like us, so she would have no reason to attack the school. As for Yumi, she's not smart enough to pull off something like that. She's gotten this far through her sports achievements. She'd be the first to admit that. That's what they told me in any case. Why not have Haruka keep an eye on her? She's in a group with her too. Do you really think Haruka can be trusted with something like this? She'd probably lie and say that they all did it. Ayla huffed out, her bangs ruffling with the whoosh of air. And besides, when has Haruka ever listened to me? She's never liked me, not since you and I, Look, I wouldn't ask you to do this if it wasn't important. And like I said, chances are that isn't even true. But I'm working with someone else. Then change. I don't care how you do it, make it happen. Once they find out who the culprit was, you can change back. But for now, this is beyond me or you, and you need to understand that. Just think about it. You want to keep Haruka safe, don't you? Do the right thing. I'll check in with you to see what you find out. And feel free to text me. We should do coffee again soon. That more threatening than it, that was more threatening? I think that was supposed to say that was more threatening than anything else. But I'm not gonna judge. I feel weird not acknowledging that we'd gone on for a few dates, but we both got too busy with school for that. She danced around it, but it was one kiss? Two? It felt so long ago, and I'm not about to chase her down. Seems I have plenty on my plate already, and why would that duty fall onto me? To be honest, it almost sounded like Ayla was jealous. She ended up in the other science class. If they wanted Ayla to keep an eye on Kana, wouldn't they have put them in the same class? And she expected me to drop. Oh god, I just squeaked. She expected me to drop whoever I was working with for Kana, or she made Kana out to be an arsonist. Either way you cut it, it didn't sound that reliable, and it seemed like something the police would handle, not me. So true. I don't want to get into that mess. I think we have to though, because I think it's part of the story. But I mean, in real life, if that kind of situation happened to me, it's like, nah, not my business. I only met her a day ago. The afternoon was beginning to creep over this. Not that it would ever happen in real life anyway. I don't think that you'd ever, this not on the daily average that you would, bump into somebody at school who burnt down a previous school. It's like, really? And I needed to find Haruka. If she waited, that is. There you are, Devin. I thought you died or something. I had to laugh at her hyperbole, even if it felt rough after my conversation with Ayla. You'll never guess who I just saw run past. Little Miss Prissy, why isn't everything perfect? Oh, Ayla. Yep, Haruka had popped the pea a little too hard, spitting on me in the process. I love that. She failed to notice, even as I wiped my face. I never did get why you liked her. I guess she's tall and pretty and smart and smells nice, but like, what else? And now my eyes on Haruka, who raised her eyebrows. What did she want? Yeah, she wanted me to catch up with what she did over the holidays, and she couldn't do that here while you waited for me. Oh, no, it was her talking, I'm sorry. I shrugged and felt intimate relief when Haruka shrugged it off. I'll just add her to my list. List of girls trying to steal you away from me. Wasn't she the first one on that list? No, that was Sakura, in 8th grade. She stole my seat next to you and spent the whole class throwing candy at your desk, which you got in trouble for the candy, and me in trouble for allegedly punching her. Haruka had the nerve to say allegedly when everyone had seen her sucker punch Sakura so hard her nose bled. Why am I not in this school? It seems like there's so much drama, and I would love to not be a part of it, but I'd love to be the one to see it. Sakura and Haruka, is that coming off as evil? I don't know. But honestly, as long as, kind of a joke kind of thing, and not like something like wicked serious, it's pretty funny if you think about it. Especially when like things happen to you, like you get hurt for some reason, and it's serious at that moment, but then like years in the future, you can look back and laugh at it. That's kind of what it is, it's just a little bit sooner. Sakura and Haruka had a history of tension though. Sakura tended to pick on Haruka as she always responded. Haruka had zero cool about the things she went through. Some would say she was passionate, but they were generous. Can we go now? We'll be here all night if we don't get going. Sure. I can't believe you remember who had a crush on me first. Oh, she wasn't first, but she was first on my list. That's very dramatic. I don't know, people just seem to like you, Devin, and my list got a whole lot bigger since yesterday. Gee, I wonder why. Ooh, I like the piano. Haruka split off down the street, and she lived a few houses down. It was easier to part ways early, plus her dad hated me. Why is that? My parents both worked and were inconsistent with their hours, which left me home alone. I was used to it. Despite a full day at school, I didn't feel hungry. There were packaged meals in the freezer or soups in the pantry. The empty house crowded me as I slipped off my shoes. The big scary shapes outside my windows lingered like monsters when I was a child. Now they greeted me as old friends. They tapped their branches upon the windows and staring in with moon-wide eyes. They never come inside and only looked in to keep an eye on me. In truth, the only person who'd break in was Haruka. She'd churn up with more bruises than words. We didn't talk about it much. I love it. I don't know why I love like hearing like clumsiness. It's just funny to me. We didn't talk about, especially with Haruka. We didn't talk about it much. But we watched the monsters outside the window together. My arms around her. All we have was a blanket and some of those instant meals. It's funny how easy it is to feel safe as a kid. She stopped coming here over the summer. I hope that means things improved for her sake. I kicked off my shoes before I went further into the house. As my conversation with Ayla, I still don't know. Ayla resurfaced in my mind. My appetite went away altogether. I'm reading way too fast and I'm messing up my words, and I apologize for that. I think it'd be best to ignore whatever Ayla was talking about, right? What else could I do? I'm not about to pick apart the girls. And it sounded as if Ayla only had heard about them. I would have noticed if something was off, wouldn't I? Plus, I'm not a police officer. I'm not going to be able to crack the case. I roll my shoulder until I feel a pop. I had some history homework to do, but little interest in doing it in the beginning. Usually, I got home much earlier, but by the time Ayla had really taken away my afternoon. I'm surprised Haruka even waited for me. But then again, she knows I wouldn't leave without her. It's sweet of her to have stayed, even if we both know she's never in a rush to go home anyway. I look at my bed, severely tempted to call it a day. Huh? A message. Is it just me, or was today a waste of time? Nah, it sucked for sure. It was, uneventful, certainly. Not what I experienced, trust me. Not what I expected for a final year class, to say the least. Even she thinks it's a waste of time. The nerd can't even handle it. It was nice to work with Haruka, though. Duh, we are best friends. With a bunch of question marks. I wonder if there'll be a time where we had to work as a group of 5. Or if we're going to be split as if we were today. It'd be dumb to make a big song and dance about groups and then not actually make us work together. Do groups ever work? Everything is easier when it's just 2 of us. More people means a broader experience and more accurate results. Imagine if you were born with only one option of who you'd become close with. It isn't much of a choice. Well, we didn't even get to choose, so there's a lot of spelling going on here, Haruka. I know it's all on purpose, but it's just funny. It's so fun to try and decipher Haruka language. Neither do we. Face it, we all have someone we'd prefer to work with, or we'd want to be alone. We don't need each other. None of us do. Not as badly as you're suggesting. That's the point of this. Oh, I didn't mean it like that. Whether we need one another or not is irrelevant. We're designed to work together in a group setting. As such, we will operate as a group until we no longer need to. I have work to attend to, so I will be leaving. You should get some rest too. I let my computer sit idle as I unpack my bag. With no appetite and no interest in homework, I have few options. Binge watch something or sleep early. I guess I'll risk it and just put something on. If I pass out, I pass out. With that, I changed into my pajamas and curled up in bed. I angled my laptop to watch from my bed, curled up into a ball. It didn't take long for me to fall asleep, even with my hectic day with obligations overhead. Homework was a future me problem. Fun! I think we're gonna leave it there. I know that was only one day, but that was a very, very long day. Oh, this is another great spot to leave it too. This is like the perfect, this is like such an eerie question. And that's where we're gonna leave it. So you guys won't get to see it until next video, unless you guys play it for yourself, and then you'll get to find out sooner than I do. So, but without further ado, that is gonna be the end of this video. I'm really, really enjoying this game. It is like one of my favorite visual novels. I've played a lot of them. This is by far like really close to the top of the list, if not at the top. It takes a lot of unique aspects to making visual novels with Renpai. It's like one of the best things that ever happened to this channel. So, with that being said, we are going to leave it here, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, smash that like button, subscribe for new. I'd love it to the channel. Guys, I got a Discord. Come check me out outside YouTube. It's a fun time for all. Hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did making it. I hope you guys in my next one. Goodbye!